I want y'all to take a good look at this right quick before this video start here on June the 9th, 2023 on Friday. To the left is Van Eichner. I'm finna give y'all some history on him. To the right is Michael Vallet. These individuals is so-called violent interrupters. Don't nobody know anything about any violence. There ain't no documentation of any violence, interruption. Any one of them have did. Nor Carbondale United, even though they've been asking for about $450,000 from the city of Carbondale. You see what it says to your right here? Carbondale United, fit check, violent interrupters. Michael, which is Michael Vallet, and Van, which is Van Eichner, on the same wavelength. Now, if you go down a little bit here, in the middle of it, on the right, where this individual Matthews say, two great men. People in Carbondale trying to ask, they asked me, what is great about these two men? What violence have they really interrupted? Now, look at that real good. They say they on the same length. We know what length Michael Vallet is on. Him and his wife, Katie Babcock, that's B-A-B-C-O-C-K, Vallet. We know what wavelength her and Michael Vallet is on. They got a habit of getting homeless people and people that's addicted to drugs, getting their food stamp card and spending it, and the police and the prosecuting attorney don't do nothing about it. Carbondale United helped cover it up. Women for Change helped cover it up. And all them other black and white preachers and leaders in Carbondale helped cover it up. But I'm finna show you the history on these individuals. Don't let them fool you. It's all about money. It ain't about stopping no violence. Show us where y'all went anywhere to stop any violence. Good blessed Friday morning, June the 9th, 2023. The time being about 6:08 a.m. I greet all human beings all around the world with the universal greetings of peace, and the blessings of God be with you. Doesn't matter what your political, philosophical, personal, nor your religious beliefs may be. Doesn't matter whether you're the richest to the poorest person on the face of this earth. It doesn't matter whether you're the proclaimed toughest to the proclaimed weakest person on the face of this earth. Doesn't matter if you're my family, friends, nor my proclaimed enemies. Doesn't matter whether you like me or anything I say or do. That's your prerogative. You have a First, 14th Amendment right to do as you please, speak and gather as you please, as long as you do it in a respectful and lawful manner. What I want to talk about today is Brian Lamont Johns, my son, who was found hung in Carbondale, Illinois, Jackson County, on Friday, March the 19th, 2021, in the Gaslight Apartments in the 400 block of North Oakland Street. His T-shirts was found in the 400 block of West Sycamore Street, right around the corner. Both of them found on the 3rd floor. I also want to talk about, it's been today, it's been, I believe, 812 days since my son's death. The news media wouldn't cover my son's case. My son's death wasn't in the obituary. We had to go down to Carbondale, get his body, and take it back to Chicago because didn't nobody in Carbondale, Illinois, respect him while he was alive, nor was he dead, with the exception of a few people that still helped me underground because they're afraid of the Carbondale Police Department. They're afraid of the Jackson County prosecuting attorney. They're afraid of the police from the SIU, the campus. They're afraid of these organizations called Women for Change. They're scared of these organizations called Carbondale United and some of these other government grant-getting people. They don't want to give them information because when they give them information, the people come up missing, dead, or in jail. Now, to the right is Michael Vallet. I believe his last name is spelled V-A-I-A-N-T. Something to that nature. And to the right is Van, that's V-A-N, common spelling. And his last name, I believe, is Eichner. I believe it's spelled I-K-N-E-R. Both of these individuals is working for a, is supposed to be what they call violent, and supposed to be called violent interrupters in Carbondale, Illinois, for an organization called Carbondale United. I don't know if Carbondale United ever had any training for any violent interrupters. I guess you could just walk in and say that's what you want to be, at violent interrupters. That's a means of getting finance. That's what happened down government grant finance. That's what be going on down here in Charleston, Missouri. Eichner recently told me on June the 3rd, when I seen them at what they call a Stop Violence March, which I call a parade. Other people that looked at the YouTube video that's not a part of the good old boy system look at it as the same thing, because they had fire trucks, firemen, and police all out there, and all of them was getting paid by the city. The taxpayers was paying them money to be in this parade. But anyway, I talked to Van Eichner about my son's death. And I talked to him about the individual on his side that's, taking the picture, posing in this picture with him, Michael Vallet. Michael Vallet is somebody that had a connection with my son. Michael Vallet was in the Illinois Department of Corrections with my son. Michael Vallet seen my son return, and Michael Vallet got out, I believe, in 2017 or 18, something like that. And him and my son, as he say, they rekindled. They hooked up with each other again. But my son, he fell victim to these drugs on the streets. A thing that people in the Carbondale, Illinois told me Michael Vallet still do. But anyway, Michael Vallet got a job with the grassroots programs. He called himself a Muslim. But I said, he called himself a Muslim. I don't see anything that he do Islamic, nor do I see anything that he do that help people in the community. I know one thing he was doing when he was working for the grassroots programs, when they was taking food over to the homeless shelter, the Samaritan homes in Carbondale, Illinois. Michael Vallet, when he was delivering the food there, Michael Vallet seen my son there, and Michael Vallet seen my son addiction and homelessness, and start getting his food stamp card and getting other people in the homeless shelter food stamp card. Him and his wife, Van Eichner told me Michael Vallet wasn't at the parade or march on Saturday, June the 3rd, 2023. He called me and told me, he said the reason why he wasn't there, he said, Raymond, I don't know if you know, Michael Vallet's wife is finna have some twins, and he worked 2 jobs. Okay, Michael Vallet worked 2 jobs. I wonder, how do he have time to be a violent interrupter? I don't know what Van Eichner do besides being here posing like he or being in these parades. But I can tell you one thing, 100%. They said, with Nancy Maxwell, before she became a city council lady in Carbondale, Illinois, just this May, last month of 2023, she said at the city council meeting, she said that her violent interrupters was on the scene of some domestic violence and a few other things where they didn't have to call the police. And then she also said, she told the city council people, instead of giving these people this grant money, she put her foot in the mouth there. Before you give them the grant money, why don't you go on the scene and see what they doing, and then at the same time, see their documentation? Well, I have people in Carbondale, Illinois that I'm working with that's afraid to come to any of you individuals that I name because of the fact they know that y'all not doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're not protecting the communities that's being attacked. They said that they want to see y'all documentation, what your violent interrupters undone so far. You asked the city council to give y'all $450,000 because you have to pay your violent interrupters and other things that you have to pay for. You said your violent interrupters do the same thing that the Carbondale, Illinois Police Department do, but they don't have badges, nor do they have guns. Now, if they doing the same thing the Carbondale, Illinois Police Department is doing, how in the hell is Michael Vallet going to be working 2 jobs, working at, getting paid as a police officer in Carbondale for Carbondale United. You see what I'm saying? How is he going to do all that? I ain't seen Michael Vallet nor Van Eichner out on no violence scenes in Carbondale, Illinois. I travel over 1 hour to Carbondale, Illinois. Sometime my two daughters, they got tired because they seen fake individuals like Carbondale United, Women for Change, and some of these other people like Van Eichner and Michael Vallet. But I want to say this here. Every time you see any of these individuals, this what you will see. You see them posing? You see what I'm saying? This is what they do. They be in newspapers. See, the newspapers will cover them. You see what I'm saying? The police would march with them in the streets, but the police wouldn't come together with me. It's been 812 days. The police won't come together with me and try to open up my son's case. They tell me, you seen the chief of police on June the 3rd, 2023, at they parade telling me that the Illinois State Police report came back that he asked for, and he supposed to have been sending it to me, but he said he gonna wait because he got a couple of other groups looking at it right now. I hope them groups ain't people like Michael Vallet and Van Eichner, Carbondale United, Nancy Maxwell, Ginger Rye Sanders, or Carolyn Harvey, or Linda Flowers, because these are black people that's not trying to solve nothing. Every time you see them, they asking for money. They in front of the news medias. They in the newspaper, and they posing like this. What they really are, they inspiring Hollywood actors. This is making me sick because, you know, I kind of trusted Van Eichner. I told him about all the criminal activities that Michael Vallet did to my son. And you know what he said? Well, do you think he had something to do with his murder, or you just kind of upset about the food stamps? Because, you know, people do that. But yet he wanted me to sympathize with Michael Vallet's wife being pregnant with twins. You see, then he gonna try to justify Nancy Maxwell. He said, Brother Raymond, he said, I know you and Nancy Maxwell done had bad blood, and I don't know where it come from, but Nancy Maxwell said she finna have them to look into your son's case because this ain't right. That's what he tell me. Nancy Maxwell told me that 2 years ago. I found Van Eichler said he's an NAACP member. Michael Vallet probably being one too, I guess. You see what I'm saying? It's one thing Michael Vallet and Van Eichler have in common. Both of them are convicted felons, which ain't nothing. I don't have nothing against convicted felons, because I know a lot of convicted felons that's out here that's really trying to make a change, especially here in Charleston, Missouri, and in Carbondale, Illinois. But these individuals, I ain't seen no change they trying to make. Michael Vallet has never one time tried to reimburse me and my son's family for all the money him and his wife stole from my son. My son was getting $234 worth of food stamps and $95 worth of cash. And Michael Vallet told the police that he was, when him and his wife got caught spending my son's food stamp card, he told the police he was giving my son $95. If in fact he was giving him $95 and my son didn't know he had $95 on his card, because Michael Vallet kept the card all the time. Who keep a person food stamp card all the time? I know people do transactions, but who keep people food stamp all the time for 8 months besides drug dealers? You see what I'm saying? Michael Vallet is not for the community. You see what I'm saying? Who gives take advantage of an individual that's in the streets or living in a homeless shelter, and then see my son's food stamp card there and then get others? You see what I'm saying? Michael Vallet nor his wife was sympathetic. Michael Vallet's wife, she's white. She got white privilege because the police didn't take her down to the police station and interrogate her. You see what I'm saying? Like they did Michael Vallet. You see what I'm saying? They took Michael Vallet down to the police station and interrogated him, video in on a report. Michael Vallett's wife was asked at the school, Carbondale Rebound High School, where she's a parent educator. How could you be a parent educator when how could you teach parents anything about education when you and your husband out there committing fraud, a crime, which the police or the prosecuting attorney won't do nothing to y'all? And these organizations like Women for Change, Carbondale United, and a lot of these other organizations, black and white, won't do nothing or say anything concerning y'all. But how could you, why wasn't she took down to the police station? And why wasn't her statement documented? You know me tell you why? Because this is what they do. They get these black Negroes, women and men, give them positions in Carbondale, Illinois, like they do in Charleston, Missouri, to help cover up crime in the black neighborhood and against black people. See, if my son's case was ruled a homicide, then that makes the murder rate go up. They done covered up a lot of murders in Carbondale, Illinois, and they got Negroes just like this that done been to the penitentiary. You see what I'm saying? Y'all ask around in Carbondale, Illinois, some of these people out in the streets, do they know Michael Vallet or Van Eichner or anything about any violent interrupters, Nancy Maxwell, or any of these Carbondale United? Go to some of these marches and see how many people out of the thousands of people in Carbondale, Illinois, that's in these marches with them. You seen the chief of police on June the 3rd. You seen big fire trucks on June the 3rd. You seen rescue trucks on June the 3rd. You seen a big old tour bus on June the 3rd. You seen the news media on June the 3rd. That's all you gonna see. You look on Carbondale United page. They got these two individuals, they said, as violent interrupters. First, they said they had 7. Now that me and somebody else done exposed that they don't have 7. You see what I'm saying? Now they done broke it down to 2. But I'm going to tell y'all wanted to see Michael Vallet and Van Eichner face much clearer. And y'all wanted to let the people know that y'all want to see the documentation of all the violence that Michael Vallet and Van Eichner interrupted. Like I said, Van Eichner said Michael Vallet works 2 jobs. That's why he wasn't at the thing, Mr. Raymond. That's why he wasn't at the parade or the march. If he worked 2 jobs and he working at Carbondale United as a violent interrupter, he ain't got time to do the violent interrupter. Just like him and his wife. They ain't tried to reimburse me and my son. The police or the state, they didn't make the prosecuting attorney, they didn't make them pay restitution. You see what I'm saying? You know why? Because my son was a homeless black individual that the police used, just like Michael Vallet did. The police used as an informant. The chief admitted my son used to work for them. But my son called 24 hours on March the 18th, Thursday, March the 18th, 2021, asking the dispatcher, am I still on y'all payroll? The chief talking about, no, he wasn't on there then, but we used to. You are lying, the truth ain't in you. What groups do you have looking into my son's case? Sit down with me and let's me and you get together and get some independent other than what you got. I don't trust these people that you was in that parade with. Peace be still.